Hello everybody, this is Pastor Megan and I am in Taipei, and just pointing out the candles and the incense and the prayers and the love that are happening in this beautiful temple. We note that during this time of Advent we too will be lighting our candles in almost an identical fashion around the Advent wreath and trying to bring in light during the darkest part of the year. We will be in some spaces remembering incense, which is being burned. So when the wise people from the east come, what do you think they come from? They come from the east, right? So they come probably from parts of Asia, and they bring their incense, frankincense, and myrrh, some of which are embalming incenses and will remind people of Jesus's life, death, and resurrection, but also the kind of incense and prayer that comes from rising prayers up to God. And just know that though it may seem like we are pitted against each other, that there is a huge difference between what's happening in Christianity and what's happening in spaces across the world, and particularly in times when people try to scare us with differences, whether it's skin tone or ideological beliefs. Know that so many of our faith rituals, the ones that are the most beautiful this time of year, are borrowed from our neighbor's faith, right? So the Christmas tree, Martin Luther borrowed from his neighbor's faith. The incense that is indicative of so much Catholic worship is borrowed from someone else's faith. And I'm reminding you of this because if you are someone for whom it is hard to find light in this deep, dark time, and you are wondering where hope is, know that in the Christian tradition, when you are unable to believe the words of baptism, like when a baby is baptized and they can't speak their own acclamation of faith, they have godparents. They borrow the heart of their godparent who sends forth prayers and love. In the same way, if you don't believe every single word of every creed, if you don't believe every single word of everything that is talked about with the birth narrative of Jesus that we'll be talking about in the coming days, you get to borrow the faith of ancestors. And sometimes that means borrowing your grandma's faith, or your mom's faith, or your dad's faith, or whoever it was that was your ancestor who really wanted you to be a faithful person. You can borrow their faith until you find your own. Or if there are people who during this kind of sad, dark time have more faith than you do, and you're stuck in Lent, you can borrow their faith. In the same way that we borrowed the candles, and we borrowed the trees, and we borrowed the incense that is so indicative of our Christmas season from other spaces around the world. And if you don't have anyone to borrow faith from, you can borrow some of mine, because I know for certain that when people lie to you and tell you that God is not able to love you because of whatever defining idea that they've come up with this century, that they're lying, they're wrong. God can love you, God names and claims you, whether you speak in English or in Chinese or Mandarin, whether you light incense or you hate incense in church, whether you light candles or you say prayers silently and you don't even know where they go to. You can borrow my faith, because I have enough for both of us. Take care, everybody. See you next time.